Reddit dating advice. A comprehensive guide to using dating apps. 1. Intro. 2. Mentality. 3. Profile setup. 4. Swiping. 5. Messaging matches. 6. Dates. 7. About me. 1. Intro. Welcome to the wonderful world of dating apps. You have never been closer to meeting your future hookup while making a bowel movement than you are today. This is going to be both exciting and ridiculous at times, and that's a good thing. With the right mentality and profile, you're going to be a happy active member of your local dating pool in no time. 2. Mentality. Before you dive into dating apps, you need to get your head right. Jumping into dating apps days after an emotional breakup is not going to be a cathartic experience, and you're going to end up feeling shittier than you did before you started. On the flip side, if you're a horn dog college kid, take a second to make a proper game plan before you start. You'll avoid unnecessary pitfalls and save yourself a lot of time, energy, and money. There are 3 questions you need to ask/re-ask yourself before and while you're using dating apps. Those questions are: would I want to date someone like me/am I happy as a single person? The answer should be yes. If you are fundamentally unhappy with your life or who you are, you should not stake your future happiness on some Prince Charming/manic pixie dream girl swooping into your life to magically make you happy. Contrary to what Hollywood will tell you, that's not how happiness or relationships work. If you have low self-esteem, you need to reflect on why that is, and then improve the things that you can, and learn to accept and love the things that you can't. Dating apps are only fun if you are not trying to derive your self-worth from them. Do I know what I'm looking for? Before you start swiping, messaging, and going on dates, take a moment to think about what you're actually hoping to get out of the apps. This is critical for 2 reasons. Firstly, once you know what you want, it'll be easier to shake off the blunders and mishaps along the way. For instance, if you go on an awful date and you can't contextualize it, it is just awful, period. An awful date is just a funny story for someone who knows they are just messing around/looking for a one-night stand. For the person who knows they are looking for their future, so an awful date was clearly not that person. Being able to contextualize a failure helps. Secondly, you can be upfront with people about what you're looking for. This can be scary at first, but it's 100% worth it. More on that later. Is this still fun? This is a question you ask yourself every week at least. Swiping should be fun. Having interesting/entertaining conversations on the apps with strangers should be fun. Meeting a stranger for the first time should be fun. When you have a dry spell of swipe/get rude message/go on a terrible date, you're going to have to be able to either learn to laugh about it with your friends/family or have the wherewithal to temporarily deactivate your account. Both options are preferable to falling into the trap of using the apps reflexively, even when they are actively making you less happy. I highly recommend reading the article Fuck Yes or No 2. That article summarizes the perfect outlook for modern dating/friendships in general, in my opinion. 3. Profile setup. Goddamn, you're still here? Awesome. Let's set up your profile. Your objective here is to present the best version of your authentic self. You want to be honest about who you are, what you look like, what your personality is like, and what you like to do, but you should still choose photos/write a bio that emphasizes your best traits, not your worst. Photos. Your first photo should always clearly show your face, without other people who are roughly your age/gender. People want to know what you look like, and you aren't doing yourself favors by making it more difficult to pick you out or see your face. Your other photos need to show your potential matches a couple other things: what your body type is, what your hobbies/interests are, and evidence that you have friends. You're shooting for at least 4 photos. Each one should contribute in at least one category, and between all the photos you've included, all categories should be covered. The more unique each photo is from the last, the better. This shows off more of your personality and gives your potential matches more opportunities to find things about you they can relate to. If every single photo is of you with your frat brothers drinking Bud Light out of pastel coozes or duck-face bathroom selfies, your potential matches are going to assume you're douchey and or basic as fuck. because you haven't shown them anything to indicate that you aren't. Controversial advice for guys: having at least one photo with women in a platonic setting is a plus. It's social proof that at least one woman you know doesn't consider you to be dangerous. Avoid couple Y photos. Don't include solo selfies or couple photos. Sure, there are exceptions to every rule, but in general neither type of photo sends the right message to your potential matches. Bias. Again, your goal here is to be authentic and to show off your best characteristics. Do talk about your interests. Do add some personality to your bio by using jargon from your hobby, an inside joke from your fandom, a goofy pun, a joke you'd actually crack in real life, etc. Do keep it to a couple sentences. Do leave a prompt or question that makes it easy for someone to start a conversation with you. Do talk about what types of people you get along with. Do not make a list of demands. Do not include fluent in sarcasm. It's not particularly unique, and while being sarcastic in the right context can be a legitimately funny part of your personality, summing up your whole personality that way will make people assume you're an ass. Do not include meaningless cliches like loves to laugh, Jim looking for his Pam, or let's go on an adventure. Everyone initially includes some cliches to start, but cliches are cliches because they're so common and meaningless. The sooner you ditch them the better. Do not include your Venmo account lol. Do not talk down to other people on the app. It comes off as a little insecure. For instance, a guy don't even know why I'm on this app. 4. Swiping. Every dating app penalizes the people who furiously swipe right on everyone. Don't furiously swipe right on everyone, because you're just throwing a wide net. It's a bad strategy and your profile will be shown to fewer people. Your criteria for who to swipe on must be your own. There are pros and cons for swiping on more people or fewer people. I prefer fewer, because when I hear a ding that I matched with someone, I know it's someone I'd actually want to go on a date with. Again, whatever you decide, don't let part of your criteria be proving to yourself that you're attractive to men/women. You will invariably feel snubbed by people you weren't attracted to in the first place, who rightfully evaluate you by their own criteria and decide you aren't the one for them either. 5. Messaging matches. This is the part of the process where people get the most tripped up. If you feel like this part of the process is the hardest, you're not alone. Virtually everyone else feels the same way. The key, as always, is to have fun. If you overthink it too much, you're going to stress yourself out and disappoint yourself if your match doesn't respond. Remember, you already matched. That means that they already find you attractive, so there is way less pressure to say the right thing here than there is in, say, a bar. Firstly, don't use lines from r/Tinder. They're upvoted because Redditors find them funny, not because your average match will respond positively to them. If your match is an avid Redditor, this point is void. Send the worst pickup line from top plus ALL time to them and you both can rake in that sweet karma. My advice to my friends is to reuse the same intro 80% of the time. This intro should be something that makes it easy for your match to respond with a meaty response, or that will otherwise tee you up for a fun conversation. I've had pretty good luck with ridiculous would you rather questions or rather similarly silly debate topics, but you should do whatever feels comfortable to you. The other 20% of the time you may spot something really interesting or funny in your match's profile. Take a secretary and send a first message that mentions it. It's good to show that you share interests and that you took time to read their profile. Bear in mind the message still needs to tee up a proper conversation. Just saying I like that you like X is a bad opener. Your objective in this conversation is get a taste of your match's personality. For me, I look for matches who embrace the ridiculousness of my debate and are willing to banter about it. Sure, some people aren't always into it, but that's okay. Remember, failure is easy to contextualize if you know what you're looking for. Sometimes you get no response, one-worders, or conversations that fizzle almost immediately. Again, that's totally normal. Some people are boring as fuck. Some people weren't that into you to begin with. Some people are just too busy to deal with dating apps and are just about to uninstall. It's impossible to know why they weren't feeling it, so don't spend time worrying about. It's almost always not personal. Remember, if you find yourself getting frustrated, ask yourself, am I still having fun? If you got a conversation going with someone cool, don't dilly-dally for too long. Within 10 responses I'm usually asking for a phone number and setting up a date. Letting things drag out longer leaves too much time for your match to get busy with other plans or matches. Remember, if they are a catch, they probably have other people hitting them up too. Besides, you won't know if you have chemistry until you meet up. Text conversations only give you a hint. When you ask them out, be direct. Name a specific activity on a specific day and see if they are interested. If they are not interested in you, they'll say sorry I'm busy with no follow up. If they genuinely are busy but are interested, they will propose another time/place. I don't recommend trying to win over people who aren't interested in you. The whole point of dating apps is that you don't have to do that. 6. Dates/dating. As other posters in this sub have said before, picking something that requires a low commitment is your best bet for a first date, so that if it's going terribly you aren't stuck in a boring/bad/dangerous situation. Studying together, if you're students, drinks, coffee, dessert are all good options. Bad/potentially bad options are an expensive dinner, a movie, cooking at your place, or a hike in the wilderness. Save these for date number 2 or later. On the date, if you're like me, making conversation can be intimidating and difficult. Luckily, this is a total stranger. That's good for 2 reasons. First, even if you make an absolute fool of yourself, no harm done. Dust yourself off and try again with someone new. Secondly, you know virtually nothing about this person. Asking basic questions about what they do, their family, how they spend their free time is a perfectly fine way to kick things off. From there, just ask follow-up questions about the most interesting thing they said, and boom, you're having a conversation that can go anywhere. Sometimes your date is the world's worst conversationalist. Don't fret. Remember, bad dates are just funny stories for later. Embrace the awkwardness and use it as an opportunity to practice for other awkward places you have to eke out a conversation. You are not required to have a bad time just because your date is awkward/doesn't click with you. Things are going well, now what? Be upfront about what you're looking for, especially if you're just looking to get laid. It doesn't need to be the first thing out of your mouth, but definitely before you're on the way to the bedroom. Why? Well, firstly, it's the right thing to do. Secondly, extricating yourself from a situation where you inadvertently led someone on is hard and leaves you feeling icky. Third, being upfront about my intentions has led to every FWB arrangement I've ever had. Surprise, surprise, sometimes other people are interested in casual sex too. It went badly, now what? It's so easy to end a bad date by saying something disingenuous like, let's do it again sometime soon, or I'll text you later. Controversial point, but I believe the mutual fade out is 100% acceptable after going on 1 or 2 dates. This only works if you didn't previously indicate that you would reach out again. This is how the majority of my dates fizzle out when there is no spark. If your date is still texting you after a date and you aren't feeling it, be a good person and let them down directly and gently. Ghosting or one-wording someone is a dick move. 7. About me. I have been on dating apps on and off between relationships for about 5 years. Across Tinder, Bumble and Hinge I match with 50 to 100 people per year. Lots of factors influence those numbers. Of those people, I actually meet 15 of them in person, and maybe 1/5 of those feel like real mutual connections with whom I end up spending a meaningful amount of time. I have met new friends, a handful of reliable FWBs and 2 girlfriends through dating apps over the years. Thank you very much for your attention. Stomp the like button and subscribe to our channel.